There we go. Hello, hello to all of my loved ones. I hope you all are doing absolutely amazing. I am Love Marlene, and this channel is all about the love we have for yourself, your children, significant other, all of those things. So today I wanted to talk to you all about a topic, and that is self-love and making choices. Making a choice to love yourself. I think that's one of the most important choices that we can ever make in this life. Learning that self-acceptance, learning to respect yourself, learning to just be in the moment, and also learning just to love you first. And that's something that most of us, is something that most people do not do. Most people do not make a choice to love themselves. And I wanted to say that to all of my loved ones, to make that decision to love yourself first. It takes time for us even to get into the position to say, I love myself. I care for myself. I'm going to make good decisions for me, and then maintaining it. But also something that many of us have to learn, and that's making a choice to learn to love yourself first. And I'm going to talk about 8 things that we can do to practice this and work on loving ourselves first. The first one is we have to find what works for us. In loving yourself, that's something I had to come to that conclusion to learn that what do I want? What matters to me? What is important to me? What helps me pour into myself so that I can maintain this love, this energy, and this elevation? Because most of the time we pour into others, and what we give ourselves is the leftovers. We give ourselves the leftovers, even if there is leftovers. Most of the time, we do not have leftovers when it comes to ourselves. We're so busy in helping others that when it comes time for us to pour into ourselves and to love on ourselves, there is nothing left. And we shouldn't be last. You shouldn't be last. Hi, Summit Boy. Hi, Ali. How are you guys doing? Welcome. Can you please hit the like and subscribe? That's one of those things that I have to say, that we have to put ourselves first. Hi, Clayton. How are you? Welcome. We have to put ourselves first. We have to think about loving ourselves and how important we are. Hi, Akira. How are you doing? Welcome. We have to put ourselves first and to stop worrying about other people, what they want, what they like, what is important to them, what are all those things that other people need. I know that we are busy being, either you're a parent, you're a child, you're this in other people's lives, but we have to stop putting ourselves last. You have to understand how important you are, okay? I want to say this, all the ladies, all the gentlemen, love yourself and love yourself first, because you are valuable. You are important. And let me get back to my point here. Loving yourself first, it means that you have to learn to practice what works for you. Not everything that everybody wants, okay? Not everybody that wants you to do things for them, you should do it, okay? That's one of the things that I had to learn. I had to learn that I had to stop putting myself on the back burner. And we do. Stop putting yourself last. Stop ignoring your goals, your ideas, your life, what you want to do, what makes you happy. And that's something that we have to learn. It's a learned behavior because of the society that we live in is ruled by telling people as a woman or as a man how you should look, how you should feel, and what qualifies you to actually look at yourself, you know. And that's one of the things that is so important to me, is making sure you respect yourself, okay? That's something that it's valuable. It's valuable and it's important to know of self-love and to respect yourself, because respect is not going to ever happen in this life until you first make that decision to love yourself. That's whoever needs to hear it. And I'm here to share that message with somebody, because there's not a lot of people in today's society that will tell you you should love yourself. You should go for your goals. You should do whatever it is that fills up your cup and makes you feel good. No, today's society teaches you that you should always be giving to others. You need to do this. You always have to be doing something for somebody, when that's not it at all. In loving yourself, you have to know that while you work hard and you do things for others, you have to have your own personal time. You have to pour into yourself and love on yourself, because you're valuable, important, because I have meaning, because you have meaning. See, that those levels of self-confidence, that's not something that's taught in schools. Most of the time it's not even in our own environment, at home, in your upbringing. We're not always taught that. These are things that we learn as adults, and I believe 100% is the reason why a lot of people get into these terrible romantic relationships, because they're still reeling off a poor upbringing. Not because maybe your parents didn't want to show you love, they didn't know first. So one of the things that I had to learn when I got to be grown was I had to learn about first generational healing, and healing my wounds from my past, from my childhood. Because if you don't, you're always going to emotionally be whatever age that you were scarred as a child. Until you learn how to love yourself, until you learn how to respect yourself and put boundaries out there, you will always get disrespected. First, you have to learn to respect yourself. You have to love the queen or the king that you are. And you have to believe that. You have to believe in yourself. And it's not something that a romantic relationship, it's not something that money, it's not something that clout can give you. It's something you learn, and it's from your inside. Learning to love yourself, because just because I exist, just because you exist, you are valuable and important. Let me go to the next point. And I think that it's important for us to talk about first forgiving ourselves. Forgiving yourself is one of the hardest things in this life to do. It is. It just is, because we can be forgiving of other people, but are you forgiving of yourself? Do you forgive yourself for the things that you have done, or the things that you know you could have done but you didn't because it wasn't what your relatives wanted you to do? It's not what social media, or it's not because of the entertainment world. We have to learn as adults to know our plans, know our goals, know ourself, and know what works for us and what doesn't. And that was one of the best things that I ever did for myself. Learning to forgive myself for the past, forgiving myself for when I didn't speak up for myself, when I didn't follow my goals and my dreams. I had to forgive myself for not doing that for myself. And it's a gift. Once you heal yourself, you don't care what other people have to say about you. You don't care about society. You don't care about who likes you, who doesn't like you. Learning that confidence, no matter who likes me, no matter what anybody says about me, you never let it get to you. Not that hurtful things don't annoy us or irritate us, but we don't let other people's assumptions or expectations take us down. See, that's real love. When you have that sort of real love for yourself, nobody can stop it. Nobody can stop and slow down self-love, because it's something that you pour into. It's something that you are always constantly working on keeping and growing. It's an ongoing process. Every day we have to do things to prove to ourselves that we are loved and that we're capable and we're deserving and we're worthy. It's not something that your parents, it's not something that your siblings or relatives, it's not something your romantic relationship can give to you. It's not something money or education. This is something from deep within. Inside of ourself, we have to be happy and satisfied with who we are. So be happy and satisfied with yourself and know your own personal worth, because you do possess it. You do have everything that you need. You have everything that you need to be successful. You have everything you need to be happy. And until you come to that space in your life where you say, I don't need anything or anyone to feel whole, to feel successful, to be positive, we find that balance, that centering from within. So I hope each and every one of you find that balance. I hope you find that sense of peace from within until you learn how to be at peace with you, until you say, I'm phenomenal, I'm worth it, I'm capable, I'm proud of me. We have to have that positive self talk from within ourselves. And if we don't, we are going to be miserable for our whole life, because nobody can give you that sort of serenity, that sort of peace. That's something we have to do. So it's something that I had to repeat to myself over and over again until I absolutely believed it. I forgive me. I forgive me for when I didn't speak up for myself. I forgive me when I looked at other people and tried to compare myself. I forgive me for what I couldn't control. I forgive me for everything, okay? It's so important to do that. Forgiving yourself for what you couldn't control. It's valuable. Until you learn to forgive yourself, you're never going to be happy. You'll never get to success, because every single person is different. We all come from different cultural backgrounds. We all have different personalities, and we have to learn to love ourselves the way that we deserve to be loved. Not looking outside, not looking at pictures and social media and things and material pursuits. That is not what makes you whole. That's not what makes you enough. You are enough within yourself. And I wish that I had learned that when I was younger. But, when you're young, you're easily persuaded to think that you're loved when you have this big house, cars, money, and education, all these things. And while those things are nice, don't get me wrong, everybody wants nice things and quality things. I'd be lying if I said people don't like that. But it's not what makes you you. Whether you have those things or not, you still are sufficient. Those things are an addition, they're a gift, they're a blessing to us. So don't worry about when you don't have. All you need to do is to be happy and at a space of peace. And I'm so grateful to be in that space of healing, to be in that space of peace, and to say, I love myself just because I exist. I love myself because of my strength. I love myself because of my power and my control. I know how to control myself these days, whereas before I would let other people get to me, and I would let them make me go way off course, start screaming and yelling and cuss them out. See, in part of loving myself, I had to learn that you don't have to convince people to love you as you do. That's one of the best gifts you can ever give yourself in this life, is learning that if other people don't like me, it's none of my business. John says, I do that too. Hi, John. Welcome. How are you doing? That's one of those things that I had to learn for myself, that what other people think of me, it's none of my business. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they like, And you're good. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking some of your time to spend with me. And it's so valuable for us to be able to step in that position and to say, I love myself regardless. It's not about who you're with. It's not about your education. It's not about your money. It's not about any of those things. Because I found myself very disappointed for a long time in my life. Because if you didn't grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth, or if you always have to be like what is trending on social media, you have to learn to love yourself for you, for your personality, for what you can do, because every single person possesses talents. Every single person is talented at something, but it's just you have to take the time to get to know yourself and to be happy with you. and to define your own sense of worth, not what other people think you should be worth to them. Even if other people don't think that you're worth it, you're important, you're valuable, you have X, Y, and Z. But as long as you are convinced, that's what's important. And I am so grateful. And I love to share this message and to tell other people, learn to love yourself, learn to be yourself, learn to be strong and overcome the challenges, because this life is hard. Things are expensive. People are jealous or fake, and we don't need that in our life. You don't need the drama, the anybody who is not pouring into you positively, encouraging you, uplifting you, and supporting you. You don't need it. Cut it off. I recently, in 2024, I started a healing project in my life, and it's one of the best things that I ever did for myself. And what I did, I started going through my phone, social media, all these people that are quote unquote my loved ones, people who care about me, and ask myself some questions. What are they doing for me? What are they adding to my life? Are they just a user? Are they a taker? And stepping back and being honest with myself. Most people are not honest with themselves, and I don't think that that's a good thing. You got to be honest with yourself and say, this person is not helping me to love myself more. Actually, a lot of people in our lives are distractions. They just make a lot of noise, and they do a lot of using. They do a lot of taking from you and pulling from you, getting you sidetracked from your purpose. When I learned what my purpose is, um, once I learned that, I feel like I have all the keys to success. John says it's tough to do if you care about someone. Yeah, it is tough. You know, you're right, John. It is tough to do if you care about someone. But the whole thing about it, and that's why I said love yourself first. You can love people, but it should never come before you, you know. And, being, if you're a parent, or if you are caring for other people, or if you're in a position of a job, yeah, you have to take care of those people, or you have to do your job and do what you need to do with your responsibilities. But I've learned to stop pouring from an empty cup. You have to pour into yourself. You have to get rest. You need to eat and drink, exercise, do all of those things. And I think as we get older, we learn more and more, what do I personally need? What makes me happy? What restores my peace? And I remember something that one of my mentors told me about 3 years ago, but I did not take her advice then, but I am definitely taking it these days. She told me, one day when you have your day off, she said, maybe you may be the first person to listen to my advice. Get away from everybody and just take some time for you. It doesn't matter if it's an hour, but you need to do something that will restore your peace, calm you down, relax you, and it's just you and your thoughts. Most people do not take time to balance themselves, and to release and take a deep breath and to say, this moment is just about me. How am I doing? And I know my whole life, I never asked myself how I was doing. I was just so busy going. You're taking care of this person and that person, and you never stop to pause and to think, how am I doing? Am I okay? Am I well mentally? Am I okay physically? Because when you really love yourself, you're going to do what it takes. It means having those difficult conversations. It means setting boundaries, taking some time off. And I had to learn to stop being cheap to myself. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Being cheap to yourself a lot of times involves that you would be willing to spend hundreds of dollars on other people, buying them gifts, doing this. You'll give them all your time, right? But when it comes to ourselves, I had to ask myself, why am I being cheap to me? When's the last time I took a day off and got lost, turned off my phone, and just spent time loving on me, doing what I needed to do that day, whether it was just going for a long drive, spending time out in nature, going to the gym, going to the doctor. And I didn't understand that doing those things, like going to my doctor's appointments, taking care of the things that I need to take care of for me, was a part of loving myself. And it is. Loving yourself means doing things sometimes that we don't want to do. And I know John just made a comment and he said it's tough to do if you care about someone. But that's the part. We can be taking care of other people and loving other people, but are we loving on ourselves? Are we doing what we need to do so that we can be our own in our own space and bubble of love? See what how I was raised, I can't speak for anybody but me, but I was raised to love others first, to sacrifice, to basically be a slave for others, because it's what you're supposed to do when you're a good, kind person. That's what you do. You sacrifice, you love, you pour into others. But the whole thing about it, but who's pouring into me? If you're always pouring and nobody pours back, you have to stand up for yourself. Okay, I will help, but okay, I'll help you, whether you have kids, whether you have spouse or significant other, friends, job, whatever. First, you got to take care of yourself. My first hour of the day, as soon as I wake up, is for me, and my last hour of the day is for me. That's not negotiable. I don't care what's going on. That's my time to do whatever I need to do. My personal care, read a book, exercise, whatever it is that I want to do with that hour, it's mine. That's a part of me every day saying, I'm going to pour into myself, pour into your own cup. And it's something that I had to learn to train people because I wasn't doing that before. You barely wake up, you jump off the bed, you're getting people food, giving people showers, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're busy, right? And I had to teach them, well, I love you, but first I have to take care of me. First, I have to love on me. And they don't like it. They get mad. Those people will say you're selfish, whether it's your partner or your children or whoever, because they're used to you always sacrificing for them first. And it's something that you have to train people. You have to 100% train people how to treat you. If you don't, they will control you just like the strings, like Pinocchio. They will control you. You're their little puppet, okay? So you have to turn that around. While we have maybe enabled people and bad behaviors and allowed them to do things to us and talk to us certain ways or not support us, but it's up to us. When we learn to love ourselves, we will turn and shift it around. Because you start saying, I'm worth it. If you don't like it, if you're upset, that's a you problem. It's not a me problem. You're the one that's upset. But I have to take care of myself. John says, it's draining. I have someone I love, but I think she's just using me. She never pours into me. Yeah, that's a tough one, John. I'm sorry to hear that. Um, Most of the time, I think everybody, just about everybody in this life runs into somebody just like that. You know, they never pour into you. My question to you is, do you tell them exactly what you want? I remember when I was going to therapy and my therapist told me that. And for me personally, I was thinking if you're with somebody, they should know what you want. They should know me. Why should I have to tell them? But that's one of the things about setting realistic expectations is you telling people exactly what you want and not just saying, I want this or that. I mean, being as specific as you can be, like saying things like, um, and about 9 o'clock in the morning, I would like to be woken up with tea. And same thing when I'm going to bed, 9 p.m., I would like a cup of tea. Nothing like crazy. Just starting with small things that you would appreciate. I would appreciate a text or a call in the middle of the day. Simple things that are realistic that you know that it wouldn't be hard for people to meet. Okay? John says, that's a good question. I really think she and her wants are always first. See, and that's one of the things, John, is that's why I wanted to do this topic and talk about something just like that, because so many people, we train them to be that way. It's not really their fault when you've always asked people, what do they want? What do they need? And you just do it automatically because we're kind. But being kind, also, we have to make application to ourselves. Hey, Liz, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Tuesday. I appreciate you being here. And that's one of the things that we have to honestly put in that work, right? We have to put in the work to love ourselves, and it's one day at a time. One day at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself, especially when we've allowed people to have bad behaviors, your children, your spouse, your friends, your relatives. We keep doing things for people, we keep doing it, and we know we don't like it. I know that's me. I know I don't like things, but then I do it anyways, and I complain about it, but I keep doing it. So hey, Sirius, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here. I hope all is well with you. And I believe that 100%, John. You says, I have allowed it to happen. And, with all of that, that's one of the best steps that you can say, John, is to say something like that. I have allowed it to happen. See, acceptance is the first step to making changes, to change your whole life, to change the trajectory of your life. And I had to do it one day before I started therapy. You have to admit what you've done. You have to admit what you've allowed. And then you have to say, now, how can I change and shift that? And when you start to change and shift your life, there's going to be people that are going to drop off. I'm going to tell you that right now. The more you learn to love yourself, is the more you will find out who really loves you back. And I didn't understand that part. I'm doing amazing, Sirius. Thank you so much for asking. Um, there was a time where I was so concerned with other people's feelings, and I would say things like, but how are they going to do it without me? Doing things, if you have kids, how are they going to do it without me? Or for your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, you're in your relationship, you get so used to doing things for them that you already know what they need and you do it for them, but you're not giving it, they're not giving that back to you. And not that you want to tit for tat, but you want to be thought of. You want to be cared for. You want somebody to ask, hey, have a seat. Don't worry. No, I'll wash those dishes. No, I'll do this. And those are the things what I'm talking about when I say you have to set some realistic expectations for change. And for me, I just stopped doing it. I'm just tell them, I care about you, in a nice and a calm time. You sit down and you tell them, you know how much I care about you. You know how much I love you, but I have to love on myself. And if you really love me and care about me, you'll understand as I learn to love myself more, you are going to have to take care of certain things for yourself so that I can have my peace and I can have my joy. And the same thing, just as I do for you, I need for you to do for me too. Simple things like if it's your kids, making them wash their own laundry. Or if you wash it, they're going to have to fold it and put it away. Reasonable things like stop trying to micromanage everything, And I was definitely that way. I want this folded a certain way. I want this a certain way. I want it cleaned how I want it. But when we do that, we drive ourselves crazy, okay? And part of loving yourself is also not enabling to disable people and put them in categories. We get people stuck. We do not allow people to be independent and do things for themselves if we're the ones that are always doing it. So I had to learn that too. Release the the strings, pull back, let them. If it's a mess, let it be a mess. If it's not how we like, just let it be. Okay. Part of learning to love yourself first is something just closing your eyes, especially if it's your kid's room or you see a mess and you don't like it. You're just going to have to let it go, because when they see, oh, she or he is just not going to do it, then they're just going to do it, because it's like, don't look over here. Don't look over here. I'm not going to wash your clothes. I'm not going to cook. I'm not your maid, you know? And even if you have children, you may not be able to stop doing things for them, but you can teach them life skills so that when they are old enough, they're not out there like, I don't know how to do nothing. That's not good either. So, this is more than one thing. I wanted to do this to support all of my loved ones and to say, I care about you all. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, this channel is dedicated to all love things. And I want you all to love yourself in the best way possible. So, whether it be stop micromanaging, stop trying to control how people do things because it's not how you want to do it. I had to learn to take my hand off of the wheel, let them drive their own car, to the car of their life, how they want to, but back to loving me. And when you stop worrying about how other people are doing and you start focusing on first, I'm going to make sure I eat, make sure I have my water, make sure I get my exercise. I'm going to go to my doctor's appointments. And those are just simple things that we can do for ourselves. There's so many other things. Checking on our mental health. For me, every single month I take one day off from work, and it's just for me. And I get lost doing whatever I want to do. There's no phone, there's no distraction. Don't ask me why my phone is off. I tell them in advance, today I will be unreachable. Okay? And that's one of the best things that I learned in therapy. When we do not make ourselves get lost and make people learn, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what y'all gonna do today for dinner, for whatever, but I'm unreachable. Today is for me. And then I do what I want to. I go to the beach. You guys know I live in Florida. I go to the beach. I go and take myself to the movies. I go to the library. I read because I'm an avid reader. I do whatever I want to do because that's how I fill up my cup. And it's no distraction. There's nobody calling your name and saying, I want, I need. Can you help me? No. Today is just for me. And I recommend that to everybody. That's a part of loving yourself first, is not worrying about what other people want and need. Is asking yourself, what do I want as a woman? Or what do I need as a man? And then doing it. And it was so hard for me to do that, navigating, telling people, because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. And you know what I found? They were just fine. We were the ones that had to have the control. They were just fine without us. It kind of made me sad, like, oh, you don't need me? Oh, you're all right? You're good? And they will be. We have to take our hands off the wheel and let people make their own decisions and get back into you. So whatever it is that you haven't been doing recently, going to the doctor, going on taking a day off, maybe just taking a day trip somewhere and enjoying yourself by yourself, unreachable, no phone, no social media, no nothing. And it's so good for your mental health to just get lost in your own world and ask yourself, what do I want to do today? One time I just did that. I just got lost and it was so beautiful. Phone off, shut down for the entire day. I don't care. It's like, I'll deal with it tomorrow, You got to do that. And I had to do it for me because everybody your phone's just ringing and buzzing. It's, it's overstimulation in today's society. It's overstimulation. Everybody wants and needs you. And I said, whenever I get to that point where I feel like I'm about to just lose it and scream at the top of my lungs, I say, yeah, it's time for a Marlene day, or insert your name. It's time for that day. And just inform them, okay, guys, tomorrow I will be unreachable. Where are you going? I'm not telling you. That's why it's a Marlene day, because it's whatever I want to do. And I feel so good now, and people are used to it now. In the beginning, people were upset. I even have people who are my friends stop talking to me. These are my so-called friends, but they only want to be your friends as long as you're the one paying for it. They know your business. See, I had to learn that not everybody that I said I loved actually loved me. What they love is they love access to you. They love being able to know your business. They love that you do X, Y, and Z for them. They love that you give them money. That's what they love. They don't love you as a person. They don't love you as flesh and blood, as a human being with emotions and feelings. They don't love that. They love the yes part. but they don't love the no part. And that was something I had to learn to digest that and break it down piece by piece, and not to be upset, not to be offended, but I had to remind myself, if I still want to be here healthy and not like lose my mind and not start having issues with blood high blood pressure and this and that, and the list goes on, I'm going to have those things if I don't stop. You're going to have a mental breakdown, literally, whether you make a choice or one day you're going to end up in a hospital or something. And that's not what I would want for any of you. It's not something I wanted for me. And that's what I was getting to. That point of feeling like I'm going to lose my mind if I don't stop. So hopefully somebody will listen to this and somebody will get it. Okay. Sirius says, I need to try that method. Take a day off. Yes. And get lost, Sirius. I mean, get lost. I do. I plan it out to a T. Like, okay, I'm going to sleep in until like 9 or 10 o'clock. Then I wake up and whatever, get myself breakfast or go take myself to breakfast. Go and sit by the ocean for a while. And I go to the library or a bookstore. And then I go shopping. I'll do my nails. And then I'll end my day back at the beach looking at the sun go down. And then come home and take a bubble bath. Listen to some nice classical music. And that's how and every time I do that, the whole day, it begins with me and it ends with me. It's just me and the silence and peace and quiet. And you need that. Even if you do that at home, if you're able to, if you're not, if it's going to be noise and screaming, no. You go and rent a one day at a Airbnb or just spend the whole day out and get lost. I'm unreachable. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I gotta love myself. And we do, ladies and gentlemen. You have to love yourself and you have to pour into yourself so that you can be okay. And I'll just say it. Some of us are not okay. We're just put on this plastic smile like, oh yeah, and you're smiling, but you're not. You can have people around you and they're so happy, but they're happy because they don't have to do anything, you know? I remember when my therapist told me that people should have to work for your love. And I was like, what? That concept was new for me. That was new. I was like, what? Work for love? Yes. If somebody loves you, they'll be willing to do, you don't have to do anything for them. They'll see that you're stressed out and they'll be like, why are you stressed out? Have a seat. Let me get a drink. Are you thirsty? Put your feet up. If somebody loves you, it should be on that level. If they don't, that's not love. See, a lot of times we want to convince ourselves. We tell ourselves because we want to be loved, and we'll tell ourselves that's love. Mm-mm. See, I had to learn from being in a toxic relationship what love was not, because that toxic relationship taught me everything I needed to know. I was like, oh no, that's not it. Because if somebody doesn't say, are you okay? Like if you're being quiet, you're not talking, they should be very sensitive to that. Like, are you okay? Are you good? What's going on? Did I do something? Did I offend you? And if they did, they should say sorry. It shouldn't be like, oh well, you'll get over it. Mm-mm. See, loving yourself first. Loving yourself first means learning to pay attention to how other people are treating you. And if you're not treating me right, you got to go. And with the quickness. Before I used to be like, oh, I don't want to say anything. Well, maybe it's me. Maybe I offended them. Maybe they're having a bad day. Oh, you know they're going through things. Those are the words that we'll say to ourselves. But they don't care nothing about they're hurting you. They're making you feel tired, making you feel stressed out. Hey, Metra, how are you doing? Happy Tuesday. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. So, yeah, those are all those things. Sarah says that will give you time to recharge and reset your energy. Yep. I do that once a month. I take one day every month where I'm unreachable to everybody, everything. No, this is Marlene's day. And you do what you want. And the only way you can do what you want You have to be unreachable. Yes, it is. It is so relaxing. Yes, Sirius says, hands up in the air. So that's really what I wanted to say to everybody. Make sure you pour into yourself. Make sure you take care of yourself, and make sure you know you're worth it. I want to say that. I can never tire of telling people, love yourself. And not only that, that's a full statement. Love yourself, but also love yourself first. Because we get so busy in today's society putting your kids, putting your spouse, putting your relatives, your parents, a job, on and on. Everything comes before you, even if you have pets. That everybody comes before you and everybody's waiting for you. But what kind of person are you going to be? What kind of person can you be with that? You're going to be angry, you're going to be bitter, you're going to be stressed out, you'll start getting sick. I don't want that for you. I want you guys to learn from me, because I got really sick. Like, my mental health was like in a very bad space, because I felt like I was really hurt that I was always supporting and being there for everybody, and I wasn't getting it back. I was like, when I really got to a point where I was in a really low space, and I look around and I was like, what? Nobody's calling? Like, and the things that I do, and for me, I'm not saying it to be like I'm showing off or anything, but I'm the sort of person, when I see somebody going through something, I'm always like, are you okay? Do you need something? Get them some food, you know? Hang out with them. Like, be a friend, be a loved one. And I don't know. I'll never get it or understand when people are that way. But I had to learn that just because you may love somebody, it doesn't mean they love you back. And that hurts. That hurts me right to my gut. You know, it's painful when you realize it's a one-sided thing. That hurts. It hurts a lot. And yeah, you're going to shed some tears, but then you'll get over it. You know, that's what I'm talking about. When you love yourself, it's not, I love myself because of the people that you have or the things you have or the education you have. All those things are nice to have. But if you have to sacrifice and get rid of those things just so that you can have peace, so that you can have joy, so you can love yourself, so you can heal and be your best, for me, it's worth it. I hope that it's worth it for you as well. Metro says, Marlene, I was inspired of your methods, so I created the priority and balance, how things should play out. Awesome, Metro. I'm so proud of you. You're doing awesome. Metro also says, and that's what I mentioned as priority and setting a balance to heal. You have to. You have to set a balance. Like, one of I will always talk about therapy, because I will tell you guys, therapy changed my life. Therapy changed me. It introduced me to, I didn't even know that there was toxic love and then there's a real love. Because toxic is always going to be, give me, and I want more, I want more, I want more. You can never do enough for them. They will never be satisfied. But when real love is going to be patient, kind, understanding. It's going to, they'll wait. But a toxic love, give me more. And that's all you got to do. And that's what you made. And why are you this? They'll never be satisfied. So we're the ones that have to learn. I had to learn to choose me. And I want that for you all as well. Learn to choose yourself, okay? John says, when you're giving and not getting anything back, it's like a rejection, which is draining and it hurts. Yes. And I don't want that for any of you, you know? I don't want that for any of you. And we have to learn also that it's not a rejection of us as a person. I remember when my therapist was telling me about rejection and all of those things, it feels like a rejection, but it's not a rejection. What it is when people do things like that, that's wrong to us, it shows us who that person really is, what they're really about, what are their motives. We really don't know what a person's intentions are, but people show you what it is by their actions or their lack of action. Okay? And then we have to make a decision in choosing to learn myself. Hi, official, how are you doing? Welcome. Sirius says, I understand that part, Marlene. No reciprocation. I've gave my all to someone and they didn't validate my feelings. Oh, hold on a second, guys. I'm so sorry. Allergies are acting up today. I'm so sorry that that happened to you, Sirius. I really am. That's a terrible thing when you don't get back what you put out, but I know for sure, Sirius, you're a good woman. You're a great woman. You're worth it. You have the potential. And to all the gentlemen too, you're worth it. You have the potential. So if somebody doesn't see who you are and doesn't deem you worth it, it's worth it. So I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make sure to keep a smile on their face. Like, it wasn't until you get a bad one that, and then you finally get a really good one. When I tell you somebody to pull out the chair for you, somebody to call you in the middle of the day, when you say, I'm not feeling good, they rush over with soup, medicine, everything you need. They're there. You don't even, I'm having a bad day, and just show up at work to give you a hug. See, it takes sometimes having a really bad person, and then when you get a really good person, you say, now you really say, that was that was not a good relationship. Okay? And I know it hurts, but it's worth it for the time when you do get that person that makes you like glow. They make you glow. They make you like not even doing anything, just being in the same room, like you just can't stop smiling because you're just so happy to be together. If you don't have that sort of, you know, joy and peace, and somebody just doing things for you, you don't even have to say it. They can just tell by your demeanor. Oh, you're down? So what can I do to make you happy? And they do something silly to make you smile or laugh. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. If somebody doesn't want to see you smile, see, and I can say being in a toxic relationship, they never cared. I would be sad. I would be in another room crying like most of the day. They didn't even come in there. They didn't even come in there and say, is there something I could do? Hug you, put your arm around you, anything. It's like, oh, I'm not an affectionate person like that. Or like, why do you have an attitude? Just thinking about those things like, oh man, just thinking about it, that hurts so much. And they thought that was okay. Oh, I'm not a woman, so I don't show affection like that. It's terrible how some people are because they're scarred. Um, they're scarred from their childhood, or they're scarred from their immaturity or selfishness, whatever it is. And you don't have to put up with it. The best thing I ever did was to leave them. That was the best thing. It was the saddest, it was painful, it hurt, I cried. But then you go through those things to identify that's not what I want, that's not what I need, that's not what I deserve, that's not what I'm worth. Because then when somebody comes in and they just naturally do, you don't even have to ask them. They just like, here, sit down, eat. I made you food, or I bought you food. Or just in the middle of the day, I'm thinking about you. Are you having a good day? That's what I'm talking about. That's love. Okay? And if somebody can't meet you on that level where they're thinking about, if are you hungry? Are you having a bad day? They care about your feelings if they say or do something. They don't like to see you upset. And then they do something to stop doing things that will hurt you. They're not just like, oh, you're too sensitive, or you're this. Mm-mm. Don't put up with that, loved ones. Don't put up with it. Yes, allergies are a pain. Yes, I agree 100%. So, you know, I just wanted to say this to all of you, that you got to love yourself first. And I want to tell you why. Because you're valuable, because you're important, and because you're worth it. You are worth it. Okay? Metro says every one of us deserves better, and it's good that we have witnesses what those ungrateful individuals did to us, and it's good that we have a support system that keep us going. Yeah, that's so important. And learning to love myself, I didn't realize um, that the majority of the people who were in my life, they didn't care about me. They didn't love me. It was just a beneficial thing. You know, they benefited monetarily, or they benefited sexually, or people benefit in some way. Or I'm your maid or your slave or your cook or your they benefit in some way. But when you cut all that off, now I'm not going to sleep with you. I'm not going to cook for you. I'm not going to clean for you. I'm not doing nothing for you. Do it for yourself. When you start speaking up and finding your voice and saying, you need to do something for how about I'm going to stop doing things for you until you start doing things for me. Now they're mad, they have an attitude, and they start calling you out of your name, calling you rude things, and no. Don't put up with it. Okay? Sarah says you start blaming yourself for everything. You will defend their bad behavior. You certainly will, Sirius, and you don't have to take it. Don't defend people's bad behavior or make excuses. They always got something for an excuse why they didn't do so. I'm tired. I'm hungry. You know I'm going through things. You know my situation. You know this. Or I'm not an emotional person. Or I didn't grow up saying sorry or thank you. Like, you're adults. Put in the work. Make changes. You get over it. Yes, to not be around those individuals who won't be honest with themselves and hurt your feelings. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, serious. Metro says, I felt the pain and misery when I was with that woman. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to every single person who has to deal with a terrible romantic partner. Let me tell you, going through a bad relationship or bad relationships will finally make you realize, why did I put a, after you get over it, like, what did I ever see in them? Like, when you get past the hurt and the pain and you start to be in that phase of evaluation, what did I ever see in them? Like, sometimes you're like, I didn't even they're not even my type. They never loved me. They never cared about me. I was the one that cared for them. So we have to do better than that. John says, I say sorry all the time for stuff I didn't do. No, that's not good, John. That's not good. You don't have to keep apologizing if you didn't do anything. You don't have to. Uh, how you despise liars and disrespect, especially try to hurt me and my family, including the children. Now that they don't need to see all of that. Yeah, it's very shameful. Yeah, it's very shameful. I'm so sorry to everybody who has been hurt by somebody. I'm so sorry. And me saying sorry, it doesn't excuse it. But I remember when I went through therapy, we have to put that on it to heal it. You know, you have to you have to heal it. You have to say, I did the best that I could in this relationship. I tried to make it work, but it was not going to work because it was toxic. Okay? Tell yourself that, and then allow yourself to move on. And you have to remind yourself, I'm not a bad person because this relationship ended. They didn't deserve me. We were not compatible, and I deserve better. That's something you have to say to yourself. I deserve better because I'm worth it, because I love myself, and I have better to do. I have better to be, and my peace of mind is very valuable. Oh, you're welcome, John. Thank you, Sirius and Metro. Metro says, all I do is tell us that they need to prove it. If they really care about our feelings, and silence is given to the bad people to protect our mental health. Never again. Why would we put up with those cowards? Yeah, don't. and they are cowards. They want to control you. They want to control your money. They want to control your time, everything. Who are you with? They're jealous. They're envious. And most of the time, you're in these relationships with people who are acting like little kids, little toddlers. They won't do anything for themselves. They won't cook. They won't clean. They won't take care of themselves. And they'll never even say, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, honey. No, it's one of those things like demanding. And why didn't you give me more of this? Oof. I'm so grateful to not be in that position anymore with a toxic. And like I said, once you get into a very loving relationship and somebody just will freely buy you flowers, want to take you out, let's go on a vacation. Do you need something? And they'll just listen to you, just talk. They will respect your boundaries, okay? They will be compassionate. And if you can't have compassion, understanding, support, and their quality time, if you aren't laughing and giggling when you're around them, if it's always like something like serious, that's not good. You got to be silly with the person that you love. Hey, Miss Betty, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Tuesday. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. But I'm just about to get up out of here, guys. I really do appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope that this message has been valuable to one or all of you or anybody who's watching in the replay. To all of my loved ones, love yourself first. Respect has to start with you, okay? Respect has to start with you. And until you respect yourself, until you set boundaries, until you walk away, until you allow yourself to heal and forgive yourself, and you say, I gave it my all, but this is just not working. I hope that somebody needed to hear that this is not working and it's time for me to move on. And then let yourself. Love yourself first. Part of loving yourself first is setting first the boundary of saying, I deserve to pour into me first without being demanded of, without being controlled, without feeling inferior. Nobody should make you feel inferior. They should make you feel like a queen or a king because you're worth it. Yes, serious. I am enough. You are enough. Thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, John. I hope you come back again. Thank you so much, Sirius, as always. And last comment by Metro, because I don't want to take responsibility and held accountable, continuing with blaming and they're very unhappy people. Stay away from those people. Amen. Yes. I want the best for you. I want the best for each and every one of you. It's one of the reasons why I switched and changed this channel to talk about all of the love things. And today I wanted to say to all of you, love yourself. And I'm going to put 3 more things and I'm going to get out of here. In loving yourself first, learn and practice what works for you. Forgive yourself for past mistakes. Interrupt your negative thoughts. Challenge your critical beliefs. Practice gratitude for your life. Do things for yourself that you easily give to others. And point number 7, connect with positive people. Connect with positive people. Love yourself first. Pour into yourself. Get lost in a day that's just for you. No connection. Unplug to recharge yourself. And remind yourself, tell yourself those words. I love me. I love me. I'm worth it. I'm worth to be respected. I'm worth the people who care about me will respect my boundaries. They will encourage me. They will support me and fortify me. I can trust them and I can depend on them. And if you can't find that in other people, it's time for you to walk away from the toxicity. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm about to go over to my other channel and I'm going to do a member only live for my Marlene Motivates channel. So my members over there, I'll see you guys soon. Next week, Tuesday, I'm going to do a member only on this channel for my members. Join my channel membership. It starts at 99 cents. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bye-bye, guys.